there, my friends. My name's Tim. Welcome to Legacy Art Studio, my channel where I get to share the world of caricature with you. Today, I'm looking at Butte, Montana. A very, very cool place where a lot of mining has been done here. But we're not going to be here. We're heading to a place called Anaconda. In Anaconda, there is Fairmont Hot Springs, and that is where we're going to be doing our caricature gig. It's only going to be happening here in the next couple of hours, so we're going to get over there and get these caricatures done, about 2 hours of caricature work there. And then my wife and I, we're going to enjoy hanging out at the beautiful Fairmont Hot Springs. We have a lot to look forward to, and I'd like to bring you along on the ride. Okay.
I think
You think?
it was 25 people.
25?
I think. I kind of started getting lost at about 20.
Oh, I get lost at 5.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm here for you, honey. So 25 and 180 minutes. So you were 7.2 minutes per person.
We 7.2?
In the finale of things, you were 7.2 minutes per person.
And the thing that I struggle with, especially when it comes to caricature in this way, is I like to do 2.
Yes.
Because it doesn't take a lot of layout. 3 takes it and makes it more challenging, especially because of how small.
Well, and I was thinking, why don't you turn the page? But you had the logo.
The logo.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. That is the struggle. Is, okay, do you turn the page and mess up the logo that I custom made for them? Or do I reprint other pages in the future that are custom that are, you know,
that's a good point.
So there's a lot of dynamics to that kind of stuff.
Because you could put 2 people on one of those side ones too, so you wouldn't necessarily be wasting it.
Right, and there's no reason why I couldn't do lengthwise.
Yeah.
I do think that there is a bit of a. Caricatures are known to be tall and not be wide.
Yeah.
So usually I want to stick with a traditional look.
I did not love the 3-person thing.
No.
That was unfortunate.
I don't like the threesomes because they make faces too small.
Yeah.
And it squeezes a person out of the scene. You guys didn't see this one, but my wife made me draw her.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. I really struggle to draw people I really, really love. So I'm pleased with how this turned out, but I will tell you that I become very, very antsy in drawing people that I love. People that are strangers to me, no big deal. People that I have a care for, ooh, it's because you think too hard about it. So after the gig, I owed my wife some dinner. And we went to a restaurant that she'd been to before. It used to be in Anaconda. They moved over to Butte. And she was very excited to introduce me. Now, I'm not much of an Italian guy. She likes her pastas. I'm more of a meat eater. So I had a steak that I enjoyed very, very much. It was a little blue. If you don't know what blue means, that means it's a little undercooked, but it was still really, really, really good. We had a wonderful time. I didn't get a lot of video of it, though, because, frankly, I was enjoying being with my wife. But let's talk a little bit more and also answer one of your questions. Butte is known for a lot of the mining. It has this ginormous wall, kind of like a rock quarry kind of thing, where they have been mining it for forever. This entire town represents a ginormous mining community around Montana, and the stories go pretty deep, and the history goes pretty long. That's where Montana really was starting to get known around the 1800s. The late 1800s going into the 1900s, mining was the thing. Silver, all that sort of stuff. There's a special project that I'm going to be starting with a friend soon where we're going to be making a documentary on some of this kind of stuff. If you want to learn more about it, I'll tell you more about it when we get to that point. Now, today went really, really well. Very blessed to say that the clients once again extended us an extra hour. It went really smoothly. We had a great time, and I loved having my wife with me. Let's talk a little bit about some of your questions. This one comes from Thomas. Now, Thomas is actually someone who's followed my channel for a very, very long time. I deeply appreciate his comments and that he's supported as long as he has. He's actually one of our historians. That's what I like to call our people who have joined one of my YouTube channels that's monetized. So let me very quickly answer some of his questions here. He says, should a caricature focus on realism or cartoons, or should you just go straight for gesture? In my opinion, and this is actually answering another question that someone else posed, specifically on trying to get realism and likeness. And I want to come to a key point that I've mentioned many times before, but it bears repeating. And caricatures are not about likeness. Yes, absolutely, likeness is important. You should be getting your likeness. But the reality is, essence, in my opinion, the spirit of the person is the most important thing that you can capture.
Now, when you're asking cartoon versus realism versus gesture drawing, well, gesture drawing is always going to be important to getting you to the final outcome, but when it comes to the realism versus cartoon, I came from cartoon. Someone like Jason Seiler, who does magazine covers, he does realism. It really truly comes down to what you're trying to complete, what you desire for your own personal touches.
I have had people loving the caricature that I've drawn for them when I feel it's missed on their likeness, but they love it because they feel their spirit in it. So when someone sits down in front of you, one of the first things I try to do is spend some time chatting with them. Now, I'm not going to waste my time just talking with them. My goal is to discuss and try to get a feel of their spirit. If they're quiet, if they're excited, if they have joy, if they're monotone, whatever those things are, figure out this person and what makes them tick. And from there, then you can go and you can create something special for them. Yes, looking for likeness is important, but sometimes likeness can come down to something as putting their glasses on their face and trying to make the glasses look like them, wearing a scarf, things of that nature. Believe it or not, those things can make likeness happen. And the way my beard is, the way that I have a gray streak in it's the little things that can fix a likeness. But essence and spirit can only be done with an attention to detail and a focus to find out what makes that spirit smile, not want to show their teeth, how wide they open their eyes, how they do their hair. Things of that nature show a person's essence, and I think that that's a key thing.
Yeah. I was like, I gotta get that nice big smile she's got.
He's captured that wart on the end of your nose perfectly.
Ready? All right, here you go.
You should get Dennis to
He wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it?
He said no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
We should
hilarious.
leave this.
You know, I have a picture on my phone that's similar to That's so great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Pleasure to
Get
meet
my
you.
purse, yes, and you too. Thanks you. Thank you.
It is day 2 on our trip to Fairmont. The caricature gig went well. I already told you guys that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the second question that Thomas asked on Facebook, and that was, do I like monochrome or color more? And I want to answer that by saying it really depends on the scenario and the medium as well. Let me start by saying, if it's down to speed, I have to say monochrome. Monochrome is a very traditional look. A lot of people remember monochrome not only because pencil is usually done in monochrome unless it's airbrushed over, but then on the other side of it, it's simply faster, actually the fastest. So in a place like Montana or surrounding territories, for me, I feel like I love black and white because it's a very traditional look, but it also allows me to take care of the most people in the shortest amount of time that I possibly can. So I'm gonna say monochrome in the speed scenario. Now, in the color side of things, I really, really, truly love the very traditional style of a airbrushed caricature. Now, usually that's penciled in by hand and then colored with airbrush. I've always been very interested in learning the medium. I have an airbrush, I have a silent compressor. I have everything that I need to do that except the knowledge and time to practice it. So it's a very unique and beautiful art form. I think it comes with a lot of maintenance, of maintaining your airbrush and things of that nature. So that's why I personally haven't studied it, why I don't do it. I remember a majority of the artists at Universal Studios in Orlando, they do the airbrush style, and I think it's very beautiful. I think it's very fitting for that very exaggerative caricature style. Me personally, if you're curious what colors I do, I usually do an alcohol marker base and watercolor base, and I mix between the two. I use a very laughable brand called Ohuhu, And thankfully, they're just very affordable. And then for my inking that I do, I like to use Copic markers in Copic Black. And I've been testing Ohuhu markers for their blacks and have found them to be reasonable as well. So I like to color with as much of the marker as I can. And then I do a lot of flat washes with the watercolors, depending on the paper that I use. But 9 times out of 10, I prefer just to keep it simple and stick with that monochrome look. Now, where do I use that the most? If I'm selling a caricature and it's per caricature sales, I'm gonna offer color as an option because there's a chance for more money per sale. If I'm doing it per hour, I'm only offering black and white just so we can get through as many people as humanly possible. That's just what works best for me. So that's answering your question, Thomas. Thank you for that. And your third question, do cows moo during the day or at night? Or only at night? I mean, I live near cows. I've worked near cows. And I can guarantee it's only at night.
Little things like this that are so interesting to me. We're on our way to Anaconda, Montana. Now we've been staying outside at Fairmont Hot Springs, but I want to take a little trip into town, see if we can get some cool shots. And found these very cool sheds. Obviously we're not going to enter them, and these signs are rather old, 2018. I'm looking at this, and this by itself is interesting to me. This long piece of pole here is being held in place by one nail. And look at how there's this line coming across here, going right across this private property sign. This thing has been swinging on one rusty nail for God knows how long to leave this mark. And these are just an old piece of history. Imagine someone living in these. I'm gonna show you one right next to us here in a moment. This kind of stuff is amazing. I love talking history, and that's why I love highlighting different places around Montana in these videos, and why we're gonna be shooting a documentary soon on a part of Montana and some of its history. Beautiful stuff around Montana that you're not gonna know unless we capture it. So we're driving through Anaconda, and one of the things that makes Anaconda kind of interesting is that it's the only mental state hospital in Montana. Public, and still in operation. I'm gonna see if I can have AI repeat this again, because this is a little interesting.
The Montana State Hospital near Anaconda in Warm Springs has been serving the state's mental health needs since 1877. Initially known as the Montana Territorial Asylum, it's seen many changes and modernizations over the years. Would you like to know more about its history?
Tell me more.
The Montana State Hospital has been around since 1877, initially aiming to provide care for individuals with mental illness. It's seen a lot of changes, reflecting evolving approaches to mental health care. Want to dive deeper into its history?
No, thank you. Well, we've been driving all day and finally wrapped up in Anaconda. I'm very excited to be here. I wanted to take you through downtown here and show you a little bit about what makes this place beautiful. It's peaceful, even with a storm coming in, but let me tell you right now, the seasons are changing. We have autumn coming in. We're in September right now, near the end of September, and the aspens are starting to show. It's this beautiful gold, and it's all throughout the mountains around here, and it just, absolutely beautiful. Now, before the storm comes in, I gotta show you around a little bit, give you a quick tour of Anaconda. There's a little bit to see. And then my wife and I were gonna go out to dinner to a place called Donovan's. Looking forward to it. It's really, really cool. And once again, a lot of mining history involved. Now, John asks a good question. What's a good pencil to start with, or a good starter kit? John, I hate to keep it this simple, but it's the one that's in front of you. I've tried every kind of pencil under the sun. I like mechanical pencils myself, but the changes between lead weights can be so minuscule that you'll probably not even notice as a beginner. So just picking up your pencil and getting started, that's your key goal, and that's the best starter kit.
How about this crazy place? Junior high school, Finished construction in 1928 according to its capstone. Crazy building. It's amazing what they built back then. But a nuclear fallout shelter in its basement.
John also asks what basics are good to warm up on drawing. For me personally, before I start a gig, I always draw a caricature in different faces, different forms, just to get a feel for how different everything can be, even with one single face. Just practice on what inspires you. Every bit of drawing you do will make a difference. I heard my wife quietly yell at me from the car, and I turned around to see this guy. It's very normal to see deer in Montana all over the place. They were literally everywhere in this town. But it still spooks you, because when you're out in the open and you're trying to figure out, if it gets spooked and it comes running at me, where do I go?
Like, I'm not in a good place to defend myself.
John asks one more question. What do you need to work on for straight lines, arcs, and circles? Well, John, I can tell you I have good news for you. I still can't draw a straight line, and yet I'm still somehow making money through this. But if you want to improve, learn to use your whole arm and move very quickly to make the cleanest lines. The slower you go, the more jagged moves you make.
There's so many of them. Yeah. Oh!
How cute is that? Aw.
Oh, my land.
Goodness. Going to town. Oh my goodness.
In the middle of the road, too. Well, one thing's for sure, we're definitely not going to get in the way of Mom.
That is insane. Are you getting that?
I'm getting it.
Not sure at all, are they?
No, tail's not up.
I'm just curious. Whoa. I really get scared.
Yeah, I just don't want him coming up to the window.
Baby doesn't jump out.
Insanity.
They like the leaves. Look at all the leaves. A dandelion.
Anaconda wildlife for you. How many have we seen so far?
I'm looking at some of the same ones, but there's had to have been like
9?
6, at least 6 that I can count. I'm sure more.
I like my leaves well toasted. Oh, that's actually a pretty good shot. I don't mind that. I do mind that. Go away, alright. Oh, that's actually really cool.
As my wife and I head to Donovan's for dinner and also wrap up our episode today, let me answer one more question from D. Gerald Puppets, and he goes, how does one achieve a likeness while at the same time exaggerating or distorting features, and at the same time altering the expression? Well, brother, the answer that I have for you is actually, unfortunately, a rather simple one. Distortion is not the goal. Distorting means that you're moving features of the face in different places where they absolutely don't belong. But caricature, to keep a likeness, means you have to do things in proportion to each other. So if you're going to stretch or adjust a feature on one part of the face, it has to stretch and adjust another part of a feature on another part of the face. And there's a whole bunch of different techniques that I've taught here on my channel, a bunch of amazing books on caricature that will teach you these different techniques. And the long story short, it requires you to loosen up. So if you're trying to find the systematic approach to do this, it's not easy to find because it really is much more simple. I have drawn caricature after caricature after caricature of the same person doing it different every single time, and each one will still look like the person because I did things in proportion. And if I adjusted that proportion, I had to adjust it across the entire face. Now, this is a video that I'm totally worth considering remaking. Frankly, I need to go back and redo a lot of my different tutorials I've done in the past. If that's something that a lot of people say they want, it's something I will absolutely consider doing. So, if you like that idea, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and that means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of your questions today. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Leave more questions down below. Next time we make an episode, I'll answer your questions too. So keep it crispy. First Tim 412. God bless you guys, and thank you so much for joining us on our trip to Fairmont Hot Springs for our caricature gig. It went really well. We had a lot of fun, and we'll look forward to see you next time.